All right, in my last video, I talked about how to teach your students to play in tune by first trusting that they can and finding ways to tap into their natural ability to be able to hear if something's in tune. Now, I do have a method that in just one lesson, you can teach your students to listen, hear, and adjust their notes and be in tune. And that's part of my teacher training. And that's a little bit involved, so I'm not going to get into it because it requires some participation for you to experience it properly. But if you take my training this summer called Teaching Strings Made Easy, it's all live online, so you don't have to leave your home. You can save your travel for vacation. I will show you how I teach the students in one lesson how to hear and play in tune. But even without that, I can give you some other tips that you can use right away to get your students to play better in tune. The one I'm going to share with you today is about audiation. So I think for every instrument, aside from the piano, where the intonation can be adjusted, you have to teach students early on to audiate before they play. So meaning they have to hear the note in their head before it comes out of their instrument. And it's just a split second, right? So how do you teach this skill? Now, some people teach this skill by getting the students to sing all the time, which, you know what, I'm a pretty lazy teacher. I have not stopped to do that. I've got so many things going on and so many things I'm experimenting with that I've just never gotten around to doing that, because I feel like even though it's an important skill and I do love singing, and I believe every music student should be able to do it, I'm just more curious about how to do it without singing. So I'll share one of my strategies today. So how do you teach audiation? So you want to start this early on when they're learning to play a scale. And as they're learning to play a scale, you're singing do, re, mi with them. So they are connecting the scale to do, re, mi. But what you also want to do is teach them to pause, hear the next note in their head before they play it. So you'll start with the do, get them to pause, you sing re, and then have them play re. And then pause, then you sing mi and have them play mi. And just keep going like that for the whole scale. And do that a couple of times, okay? The next step, after you've done that and they get the idea, is you play do, then you pause, but they have to hear re in their head. So you're not going to sing it. So they sing it in their head, then play re, then pause, and play mi, etc. Okay, so then they're thinking about it. And then the third step, you might want to pause just very, very slightly, or have a little bit of silence before the next note, or you can just play it straight. And by then they should get the idea of the audiation before they play the next note. And you want to stop and check to make sure everybody has done that. I stop and ask them how many people heard the note before they played it. And if you forgot, that's okay, because our brains like to do things automatically. I call that autopilot, and you might have forgotten, and that's okay, but you got to train yourself out of that and make sure that you focus. So that's my tip for today, is to play your scales with a really slowed down version of audiation, so your students really get that they have to hear the note before they play it. What will tend to happen when you do this is your students will just automatically adjust their notes, many of them. Okay, so I don't usually even bring their attention to that too much. Like, I don't want that to be the focus. I don't want that to be the instruction. I just like casually say, oh, and if it's off, make sure you fix it. Because you don't want to get students self-conscious about what they're doing. So there's always this fine line between telling students specifically what to do and tapping into their instincts, like I was mentioning before, so that they just do it naturally. So as much as you can, you want to tap into their instincts. And if you have a few students who just still don't get it, that's okay. You can give them some personal attention. But for the most part, don't say too much. If this video helped you, remember to like it and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next tip.